The cups are filled with dirt, but the inmates have to act like they're drinking tea, and when the guards aren't looking, they just dump the dirt in the trash. In order to escape from this prison, he had to do everything he could. They dug a hole in the corner of the wall on the first floor, and the dirt they dug out was put in a bag, and then secretly transferred it to the upper floor, and then through a hole cut in the ceiling, to hide the dirt above the floor. But this is not only inefficient and easy for the guards to find, so they modified the method. They cut a hole in the ceiling of the first floor, so they could get the dirt up there quickly. Just when the plan was going well, the prison was suddenly raided. A large number of guards gathered in the cells, and a frenzied sweep followed. Alan ran for his room, though the inmates cleaned up the mess. But in the face of the unexpected, there was no time to evacuate the tunnels. The situation was about to get ugly. Jack had an idea. He deliberately stirred up discontent among his fellow inmates. Then he gathered a dozen men to stop the guards. Soon the two sides were engaged in a physical fight. The scene was chaotic. Then the men in the tunnel climbed out. They blocked the hole with rocks. Then they covered the cracks with white mud. Although the troublemakers were exposed to the 38-degree heat, they were punished by kneeling for 5 hours. But the hope of escape was saved. From then on, they were more careful in their movements, so as not to be discovered by the other prisoners. They could only work with the dirt during the day. It was too quiet at night. There were only a few people involved in the plan, so after 30 days of hard work, they only managed to dig 3 meters. So Alan and the others began to gather their men. They told their trusted cellmates about the plan. Soon enough, a lot of people joined the escape plan, and Alan, an engineer by trade, wired the tunnels. That solved the lighting problem. Then he started working 10 hours a day, in 6 shifts, each working only 2 hours. At this rate, they could dig up 120 kilos of soil a day, so as not to arouse suspicion. Every time they come out of the tunnel, they had to wash their bodies carefully. Even their fingernails were cleaned, and they can't miss their normal social activities, because being in the public eye, so that people wouldn't feel out of place. As the tunnels got deeper and deeper, a new problem arose. A fellow inmate fell into a coma while digging. Luckily, his fellow inmates found him in time. They were able to drag him out quickly. It turned out that the lack of oxygen in the tunnels had caused him to pass out, so Jack came to the workshop to borrow a motor. But they said they couldn't give away such an important thing, so he told them all about his plan. He promised to take him with him when he escaped, in exchange for this important tool. Later, during a visit to the prison, they got a roll of plastic bags. Then they put a fan blade on the motor, and put it in a bucket. Through the plastic bag piping, oxygen was supplied to the tunnels. After 400 days of work, the mission was coming to an end. But what we didn't expect, a sudden accident has completely disrupted the plan. While everyone was running for their lives, Alan ran towards his room, because he had to go back to save his companions in the tunnels. Soon all the prisoners were in the clearing, but it wasn't until the guards finished counting. Alan and the others didn't come out. The hearts of his fellow prisoners were in their throats, and the guards, suspicious, had their eyes on the exit.